Chapter 8 Clashing Memories. It was around 8 o'clock in the evening, and in the bathroom on the second floor of the house, a woman was getting ready to spend some time with her brother, who had just left the hospital after a period of sickness. A man was sitting by the dinner table in the kitchen on the first floor, reading the evening news as usual. An argument between the two was brewing, and the children were playing with each other beyond closed doors upstairs, still oblivious to the rising tension. "What are you saying? You promised to stay home with the children this weekend. I haven't seen my brother in ages. He's been in the hospital for weeks, and you're telling me I can't go see him now, when he's finally out? You know how long I've been looking forward to this." "Your plans will have to wait. It's not like we can get a babysitter on such short notice anyway. They need me down at the base. No one but me could handle the situations that might arise. And how many times must I remind you that my income covers most of this household's expenses?" "What are you saying?" she countered heatedly. "You promised me last night, remember? I never get to do anything." "And why should you? It's not like you can't just call him or something. It's the same damn thing," the man retorted from the kitchen downstairs. The woman came out from the bathroom on the second floor, all finished to leave, and ran down the stairs into the kitchen with steadfast steps. "I won't let you have your way this time. It's always the same with you," the woman cried. Tears had already started to trail down her cheeks as the mascara lost its hold. "Whether or not you promise me anything, you never meet me halfway. I'm always the one making sacrifices, giving in to you and your important work. I hate you!" the woman yelled heatedly, whereupon the two children upstairs came out from their rooms, their innocent playing interrupted by the quarrel in the kitchen. The rustling of the children's feet came closer to the stairs, and they looked down between the boards of the stairway into the kitchen. Their parents were angry again. The children immediately went into their rooms and brought out their airplanes of peace, which they called them. They were small paper airplanes scribbled with words like "Stop fighting, don't yell, and we love you." The son and daughter hurled the airplanes down the stairs, and even though they had some effect at times, the paper folds were now but silent whispers in a storm. It wasn't always like this, but their mother was usually the one who took care of them. Since their father was an officer in the military, he was often at work for whole weeks and during most weekends. Having had no success with their airplanes this time around, the two children then started to make their way down the stairs with insecure steps as tears started to well up in their eyes. The verbal argument had gone from standard to violent. "You always come back to me anyway," the man growled angrily. "Just like the cowardly little dog you are." "I don't know what I ever saw in you. You're beyond help, you monster," the mother cried and started to weep uncontrollably. "You weren't there when my parents died. You weren't there when I gave birth. You've never been there for me. Shut up! You've never even been worth a moment of my time anyway," the man yelled and slammed his fist into the wooden dinner table. The children were shocked by the scene playing out before them. The woman cried inexorably and then suddenly ran out into the streets with an immense sadness on her mind, quickly disappearing into the night. "She'll be back, kids. She always comes back," the man said, and sat down on the chair and continued leafing through the newspaper. "The things I do," were the last words that came out from his mouth that night. True enough, the woman came back the next morning, and the sorrowful cycle was allowed to continue. I woke up from a splash of cold water, and was immediately greeted by the loving face of the receptionist woman, who sat opposite me in a purple-colored chair. "Welcome back. You just keeled over all of a sudden. Are you all right?" "Ugh," was the only answer I could muster at first. As I slowly regained my senses, I realized that the memory I had just witnessed was just one of many. I somehow managed to formulate a question, although directed at me. "What happened to us, Lorraine? What happened to me?" "Lorraine? No, I'm Olga," the receptionist woman said, and stared warmly into my eyes. "No, no, no, no!" I whimpered and stood up with eyes filled with tears. "I have to get back before it's too late." I looked around in my panicked state and realized that the reception had been largely devastated by some act of violence. Metal candle holders had been tipped, vases had been smashed, and dirt was spread around the floor. "Hold on! Get back where?" the receptionist of Madame Eves asked, with a genuinely worried expression. "I've called for a doctor." I wasn't trying to be rude towards the helpful woman, but the only words that came out of my mouth were, You leave me alone! I need my family!" Without a second thought, I burst through the door into Cordale's main street again, while following my wristwatch compass northward. I knew my family was waiting for me somewhere in Seraphos Weald. It wouldn't be long now, I thought, hoping to right the wrongs I had brought upon my family.